Hello friends, welcome back to Aaron's Anxiety. I am your host, Aaron, your personal guide through anxiety. If you're liking my content and you're having fun, okay, I don't know how much fun, we're trying to put this funnest fun of anxiety as we can. Please like, comment, subscribe. I love all my new subscribers. You guys are awesome, and I love hearing from you and hearing your guys' story and your guys' successes. It really pumps me up, and I know it pumps up the other people that are in the comments. You know, when you see somebody succeed, it really makes you strive harder to succeed as well. So I just want to get that out there. Thank you to all the new subscribers. So that being said, today I wanted to talk to you about the fears that I had before Lexapro. Now that I'm 10 months into it now, something like that. I can remember, like, as I go through life, I don't freak out about the same things that I used to freak out about. And so I wanted to talk about those things because as I notice them, it is a very calming thing. And it's a very calming experience to remember something that used to scare you and kind of be past it. You know what I mean? Kind of let go of it. So with that being said, my number one fear before starting Lexapro, the one thing that kept my anxiety like just through the roof all the time, was death. And oh my god, I can't even tell you. Okay, so just to give you an idea, it started out, oh god, gotta look good for the camera. Jeez, look good. Okay. Just playing. So it started out that I was thinking about death. I'm a very deep, analytical, but introspective person in the ways that I like deep thoughts. I like learning about deep things. I like space and the ocean and the mind and things like that. And so I have a lot of deep questions, and a lot of people do. And typically people with anxiety tend to be deep people. So yeah, you guys are right there with me. And so the one thing that I used to think about all the time was death. And it was mainly when I would lay down to go to sleep. I would lay down, put my head down, and all is quiet. And then I would start thinking about death. And I would think about existence. And I would think about, and I would have that tickle in your, that stomach dropping thought of that 1 second I'm here and 1 second I'm gone. And that transition from life to death is scary. And where am I gonna be? I would picture myself in a hospital bed and just it's dark, because we've all had family members or friends or somebody who has died and in a hospital bed, and it's a horrible, it's a lot better than the old dusty trails, but it's still those dark rooms and people are around, and it's just people are trying to make you comfortable. I remember when my aunt died, somebody literally walked in and said, "Ma'am, you're about to expire." And I remember thinking, oh my god, she's not milk. What are you telling her this? This is horrible. So, but what else are you going to do? They have the right to know. So that being said, that's what I would think about. I would think about death and where do I go after this? And guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't take a lot of hard stances in life. I'm very open to things and ideas. However, most of my background and who I identify myself as being is a lot of, like I said, analytical and science-based. And so that being said, in my mind, and this isn't, I'm not putting anybody down, in my mind, things have to make sense. And if they don't make sense, I'm not going to get on board. I'm not what's called a blind faith believer. So that being said, I'm not a believer in religion. I don't really, I used to be very Christian. I used to go to church all the time, every Sunday, and I used to love to worship and do all those things. However, as I got older, I kind of put a lot of that stuff to the side as I started getting into it. I actually read the Bible. I read it because I wanted to know what was going on and how does this make sense to me in my life, and figure out all the back stuff, because I would have the thoughts that a lot of people would have. I would have the, okay, well, why are little girls born with leukemia? That doesn't sound like a loving God. okay, why are any horrible things the way that they are? And the only answer that I could really get was one, which was my pet peeve answer. I hated it. Well, that's the devil. And so I thought, well, if everything good is God and everything bad is the devil, that's just this binary system that I'm caught in, and I feel like there's no room for it, because God's supposed to be perfect, and God's also supposed to be omnipotent. So I would have a lot of these questions, and nobody would seem to answer them, and to a point where like I could, rationalize and believe in it. So here's where I stand, and I'm just gonna throw it out there because it's important that you guys are on the same page with me and where I'm coming from. And don't worry, this ties into my death thing. I'm not just ranting on about this, and it's the only reason I'm bringing it up. I believe that there very well could be a God, and there very well could be heaven and hell, or something like it, or somebody that is putting their hand in and adjusting things. I don't know. On that aspect, I go with the agnostic people and say, look, I don't know. I shouldn't be faulted for not knowing, because how could I know? However, I don't think it's plausible. I shouldn't say plausible, because it's definitely plausible. I don't think it's probable. I think that, like, I was born in 1990, and I think that what's going to happen when I leave this earth is that I'm going to go back to 1989, and how I was then is just black, nothing, time. There's nothing. Time is a construct that we created. So, yeah, that's where I stand on that. And the reason I bring that up, and the reason I'm telling you these things, is I'm not trying to convert anybody one way. I'm not interested in people trying to convert me another way. I think that everybody, if you have something that makes you happy and gives you solace and whatever it is, go with that. I'm 100% on board, and I would never chastise or ridicule anybody for anything that they believe in. I just don't think that's right. It's your thing. It's you what you believe in, and I respect that. However, when that comes to my anxiety, and you have a fear of death, when you fear death and you don't think that there's anything else past this, and you don't think that there is anybody past it, like the love of God loves you so much, and he's got a place for you in heaven, and he can give you more than you could ask or imagine, and all these other beautiful things that people say. If you don't believe that, or you can't get behind that, it makes death even more scary. A lot of times people would say to me, when I used to be hard about it, now I'm atheist, blah blah blah, which is a very dumb, but I was like 18, 19, thinking I was really getting out there. People would say to me all the time, well, it's, atheists don't have anything to live for. And I would say, no, it's actually the opposite. Atheists have everything to live for. If you think that this is it, then you literally have everything to live for. This is all you get. This is everything. And so, and I like to live that way. I like knowing that this is my experience. I get to be here. I get to experience life, and it's wonderful, and I love it. So, it makes things more scary when you're going the other way, though. So getting past that, you're gonna be scared of death, and I was very scared of death. I thought about it all the time, and death is one of the hardest things for people to let go of, because it's something we all have to face. And when people tell you that, oh, I'm not afraid of death, 9 times out of 10 they're lying. I could say that, because you're supposed to be afraid of death, because that is why we're alive. It's a biological imperative that you are afraid to die. Not necessarily afraid of being dead, but the act of dying is scary. Is it going to hurt? We don't know. You know what I mean? And people have all kinds of anecdotal stories for us about what they experienced and blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. I don't get into any of that stuff with people. I always say that sometimes the reality that we perceive and the reality that is true reality, sometimes those aren't the same, and that's where I leave it, and I'm done with it. So that was my fear of death, and that's why I was afraid of death. And I don't really have that anymore. Death is kind of like it was back when I was in school and when I was younger. Like, it's on the back shelf. I'm not like worried about it, thinking about it, things like that. Some of the other things I was afraid of is I had health anxiety. I always tell everybody I was half a hypochondriac, if that makes sense. I was always halfway, like, I would be like, oh, maybe I have a brain tumor because my head hurts. And then I was like, nah, that's got a bit stretched. There's no way that could be. That's kind of a bit much. So I would tell everybody I'm half a hypochondriac because I don't even believe in my own bullcrap stories that I would make up. But here's the way to really know if you have health anxiety. If you can watch a show like House, the show House, if you can watch House and not think about and relate it to you, then you probably don't have health anxiety. You're probably like, wow, those are crazy 1 in a million cases. But if you watch House and you watch these crazy things, these are all 1 in a million stories, and you're like, oh wow, I had that pain in my chest. Oh, and then, oh man, my right leg was hurting with the pain in my chest. Oh man, I had an inner ear infection, I think, at one point, but it could have been an equilibrium problem. Because if that's what you're doing and you're following your symptoms along with that show, I got bad news. You have health anxiety. I don't do that anymore. Actually, one of the shows I started watching more was Scrubs, which is, there's a lot of, stuff going on, health stuff going on, and it doesn't bother me at all. I get done with the show and I go back to my life and I don't think about it. That's how it's supposed to be. And of course, I had the other fears of my, family dying, or, worrying about, like, over worrying about bills and things like that. And these things, they kind of come and go and they pass. And so nowadays, I don't notice them until I'm in a situation, until somebody passes away from cancer, brain cancer, lung cancer, whatever it may be, and I don't adjust to myself and try to hear what their symptoms were before they left. I don't notice it. I don't think about it. It doesn't come into there. And then usually when that stuff happens, I go, I didn't try to put myself in that situation. I'm really getting over this. I'm really kind of done with that chapter. I've closed that book. And I'm so glad. It feels so comforting to know that that book is closed. So, all right, friends. Well, I'm not going to rant on too long. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of my fears, how I reacted, and how I feel now. And things are wonderful. Lexapro is a great source. I always say Lexapro isn't the end-all, be-all. You need to make changes in your life to help your stress and anxiety go down, whether that's finances or relationships or whatever that is. You need to take the proper steps and then let the Lexapro subsidize the rest of that. So, all right, friends, I'm done. I know I say that all the time. I'm like, all right, friends, I'm done. And then I say a little more, and then I say, all right, friends, I'm done. But this time I'm done. Okay, friends. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe. The more you like these videos, the more I'm gonna keep making. I'm gonna make them anyway because I really do enjoy you guys. You guys are fun. But like, comment, subscribe. Don't worry. Anxiety's not forever. If you have depersonalization, derealization, that's certainly not forever. You're gonna get through it. I promise. I promise. I promise. Just hang tight. Be patient. Patience is the biggest virtue that you have. So until next time, I'm Aaron. You're awesome. See you in the next video.